Okay, so I will say that this was not my first choice of a movie to go see tonight. I wanted to see Anna and the Apocalypse because apparently it's in a limited release, but being in a big city like Boston, it doesn't come to big cities apparently. So it wasn't at my downtown theater, so I was like, alright, I gotta save that for next week. Then I wanted to see The Possession of Hannah Grace. And I saw this instead. I think I dodged a bullet with that Possession of Hannah Grace movie. Green Book is directed by Peter Farrelly, and Viggo Mortensen plays Tom. He's a family man who's down on his luck. He's struggling to make meets end. He was a bouncer, and then he lost his job. Now he's a driver for Don Shirley, who is a pianist. And Don Shirley's played by Mahershala Ali, and he is going on tour to the south, and Viggo Mortensen has to drive him there. And these two form a bond over the course of this trip, while also having to deal with questions of racism in the Southern American states during the 1960s. This is a movie that I hadn't heard much about. I didn't even know that this movie came out. Apparently this came out the week before Thanksgiving. I think it was the week Fantastic Beasts came out. So obviously I was preoccupied with Fantastic Beasts, but I had been hearing a lot of buzz about this. Again, I wanted to see The Possession of Hannah Grace with Shay Mitchell, but I am so happy that I saw this movie and I dodged the bullet with The Possession of Hannah Grace, because it looks pretty bad. I'm happy that I got to witness quality cinema here. This is an important movie. This is a movie that I think speaks volumes to not only society back then, but into the unfortunate true nature that racism is still a driving force and it's digging a deeper hole into society today as well. It's all coming back. History is repeating itself, and this movie really explores the consequences of racism in the South and at that time. And it really does a good job of portraying that. There's not as much of it as I thought there was going to be, and in that way, it doesn't beat you over the head with all this stuff, because I can deal with that stuff in a movie like this, as long as they don't beat you over the head with it. They beat you over the head with it, where it's just like, racism is bad, racism is bad, racism is bad. It's like, yeah, dude, I know. Quit throwing it in my face every 5 seconds. This movie's like, no, racism is bad, and here is why. It's something you definitely got to think about deeply. And that's what this movie really does. It doesn't beat you over the head with it. It's not constant, racism is bad, racism is bad. It's not constant like that throughout this movie. It's more towards the end of the movie where those scenes come into play, and it really hammers home its message. Mahershala Ali, again, gives a great performance. He's got a great character here, Don Shirley. He's very energetic. His character honestly reminded me of Captain Holt from the TV show Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm watching and I'm like, they're the same character. This is like awesome. Like they had the same vocabulary and the same dialogue. Like I could picture Captain Holt saying this dialogue in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The standout of this movie, Viggo Mortensen. This is by far Viggo Mortensen unhinged. This is the best I have ever seen Viggo Mortensen. I will never forgive him for his comments about the Lord of the Rings trilogy being a mess since, you know, he starred in that trilogy. But I will still support him as an actor, and dude, this guy kills it in this movie. He's definite Oscar nom for Viggo Mortensen, and probably Mahershala Ali too. Really loved the writing for this movie. Again, it doesn't beat you over the head with the racism stuff, but the sporadic bouts of humor thrown in here in a story like this is the perfect blend. It really livens the movie up a little bit, and I really appreciated those moments of humor. There's one really funny moment where Viggo Mortensen's character Tony throws a McDonald's or one of those like Coca-Cola like paper bottles that you get at like the movie theater at McDonald's. He throws that out the window. Mahershala Ali makes him drive back and go get it. I thought that was hilarious. Peter Farrelly directed this movie, one of the Farrelly brothers. We've known him for Dumb and Dumber 2, There's Something About Mary, Fever Pitch. He's the sole director in here, and this is his best movie. He directed this movie to a T. He got the most out of his actors. He got the most out of his crew. Everything that went into this movie was meticulously planned by Peter Farrelly, and I really enjoyed Peter Farrelly's direction in this movie. I just like films like this that just take you back in time, and they have something to say, because they're so well directed, and you can tell that this was a lot of time and effort was put into this movie. This is a movie that's gonna mean a lot to a lot of people. I know my friend that I saw it with, he's an African American. He really appreciates the fact that I took my time to go and see this movie, and obviously he's one of my great friends now. I cannot commend this movie enough. This is definitely a must-see. Definitely see it in the theater. I don't think it's playing, I think it's only playing in major cities, but if you get a chance, please go and see Green Book. This is by far a must-see. As far as issues with the movie, sometimes the pacing felt a bit off. Like, the movie's not slow or anything. Like, I think it moves along at a good pace, but here's where the pacing becomes an issue. Or maybe it's just the editing. I consider this aspect part of pacing. It's when scenes kind of just, you expect the scene to keep going, and it just ends and it cuts to the next scene. There's a lot of that in this movie, and I feel like that screws up the pacing a little bit, because you're expecting the scene to continue, and then it just cuts to the next scene. You're expecting characters to engage in a further conversation, and they don't, because you're already on to the next thing. So I guess it's both an editing and pacing choice. I think it's more of a pacing choice, so that I noticed that in a few scenes throughout the movie. It kind of bothered me, so I have to bring it up. That's really an issue I have, but I think that's my only issue with this movie. I'm going to give Green Book an A. Definitely check out Green Book if you get a chance, guys. I wanted to see the possession of Hannah Grace over this, and I am glad that I saw this over that. Hopefully I get to see Anna in the Apocalypse next week, so that'll be good. Guys, thank you for watching my review of Green Book. You can check out more reviews. I will leave my link to my website down below. There you will find all the links to my social media accounts. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. The Q&A video is coming soon. I'll see you soon.